Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the narration of the web series Why Humans Avoid War, taken from Reddit. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 26. Ula Point of View. Were the humans actually getting a reward for the genocide of an entire species, the Federation might as well remove the words peace and equality from its mission statement. If there was a speaker who was putting those savages in charge, the military. An abominable race like theirs did not belong in positions of power, and it never would have happened under my leadership. I had done everything I could to expose their nature, and just when I thought I was getting somewhere, the narrative shifted. The human framed me as the villain, and the Federation bought it. Hook, line, sinker. One moment I was their beloved speaker, champion of democracy, protector of the innocent. The next, they kicked me to the curb, all on the basis of a few unsavory memos from years ago. Where had I gone wrong? Was there anything I could have done differently? There would be plenty of time to think after I cleared out my office. I rummaged through the final drawer of my desk, searching for anything worth bringing home. Beneath a stack of documents, there was a single, framed photo. It was turned upside down and covered by a thick coating of dust. This picture clearly hadn't been touched in years. Curiosity sparked my chest, and I flipped it over. A younger version of myself was standing side by side with Ambassador Johnson, holding a document. I remembered that day. We had been in the signing of War Crimes Treaty, which the humans sponsored. They said that they wanted to mitigate suffering, and they had seemed so genuine in their commitment to peace. At the time, I wanted to be just like them. A growl rumbled in my chest, and I hurled the picture to the floor. The frame shattered, sending shards of glass everywhere. Careful, I wouldn't want to step on that while you're leaving this office, for the last time at that. A curse escaped my lips as I glanced behind me and saw Ambassador Johnson leaning against the doorframe. She was the last person I wanted to speak to. I had no idea how long she'd been there, but a smirk suggested that she'd seen enough. Come to gloat? You got what you wanted. Just leave me be, I spat. The human disappeared for a brief moment. I thought she might actually leave me alone. Instead, she returned with a broom and a dustpan and began mopping up the shards of glass. I clenched my teeth, repulsed by her proximity. You and your filthy species ruined everything. My life, my government, my job. It's not that bad. Lots of positions out there to fill, she chirped. You know, I heard they're hiring at Galaxamart. I could see it. You in an ice cream vest stocking shelves. That looked like it would really suit you. Go! Back off! Get out of here! I screeched. Ambassador Johnson snickered and then, at last, departed from my office. I picked up my box off the floor and looked around the room a final time. This was supposed to be my life, but somehow it had been taken away. It didn't matter, though. I would earn back the fickle citizen support by spreading the truth about the humans to anyone who would listen. Maybe I could make a blog or float around as a guest in the talk shows. Whatever it took to get the message across. There was a knock on the door, and my skin prickled with annoyance. That was a human gesture to request entry, which meant Ambassador Johnson had come back. Wonderful. Stupid human, you've had enough fun. I'm on my way now, I muttered. A male voice, as cold as ice, answered back. I am not human. And you're not going anywhere. Something smooth and metallic pressed against the back of my neck, which felt like a gun. Fear surged through my body as it dawned on me what was happening. The humans had sent an assassin after me, hadn't they? I couldn't say I was surprised, but I couldn't fathom why he didn't just pull the trigger. I turned my face to my assailant with slow, non-threatening movements. To my surprise, he was telling the truth. He wasn't human. I didn't recognize his species either. There was no flat-nosed, purple-skinned bipeds on the Federation's registry, to the best of my knowledge. Who are you? I stammered. The strange man nodded towards my desk chair. Why don't you take a seat? I inched back, following his instructions. We should talk about this. Whatever the humans paid you, I can give you more, double even. The humans have nothing to do with this. I'm here because everything I've ever known, everyone I've ever cared about is gone. You have no idea what true pain is. Look, if you're depressed, there are ways to get help. You don't have to hurt me. You don't have to hurt anyone, okay? That's where you're wrong. I am the last survivor of my species. Someone has to pay for that. Something clicked in my head. Although it sounded ludicrous, how could anyone have survived a supernova? You're a devourer, I whispered. His facial muscles twitched. I don't like that word. My name is Bayham. Okay then, Bayham, listen to me. The humans were set on genocide from the beginning. There was nothing that I could do. I forced a sympathetic expression onto my face. It was difficult to think with a gun pointed at my head, but I knew I needed to redirect his anger. Commander Rykov is the one you want. He's here, in this building. He killed your people, not me. No. I needed to understand why this had happened. And it all leads back to you. Rykov tried to rescue us, but you sabotaged the stealth ships. In fact, with your sabotage, you tried to force the humans to kill us, he said, his voice shaking in anger. They could have finished evacuating my planet if they didn't need to detour to deal with you. If you didn't start a civil war, and if they didn't need to repair their ship after. Ultimately, you are responsible. It wasn't like that. You don't understand. I needed them to slip up so that the entire universe could see the true nature in all of its ugliness. The humans have been conning their galaxy for centuries while they plot and build up an arsenal to kill us all. It was a calculated risk to save the Federation from the evil that you can't fathom. A calculated risk. Is a planetary extinction event some minor sacrifice to you? You are the evil one. You don't deserve the nitrogen you breathe. Say goodbye to your miserable existence. It seemed that talking Bayham was out of the question. The devourer had a crazed look in his face. His veins were about to pop out of his neck. His finger was hovering over the trigger as he tried to hold the gun steady. I wanted to call for help, but he would take me out as soon as I'd reached for my holopad. Barring a miracle, this seemed like it would be the end. The door swung open and Ambassador Johnson waltzed in, looking at a piece of paper. Ula, old pal, I had some time on my hands, so I drafted up a resume for you. Take a look. The human glanced up, and the color drained from her face as she spotted the gun. I wasn't sure whether to beg for help or to talk Bayham into shooting her instead. Leave. No! This has nothing to do with you, he hissed. Johnson raised her hands in a placating gesture. I read about you in the mission reports, Bayham, right? Put down the gun. You don't want to do this. Yes, I do. I want this vermin dead. A tear rolled down his cheek, and he quickly wiped it away. I tried to save my people, and I failed. Vengeance is all that's left. It's not your fault. Please, don't let your pain and your hatred define you, Bayham. You're better than that. Revenge won't help in the long run. I don't care if it helps. Why should she live when millions will never see another day? Because of her. How is that fair? It's not. People like Ula are terrible. Believe me, I agree with you. But if we stoop to their level, they win. And I'm too petty to let them win. That's where we differ, human. I'm more than happy to let Ula have a victory. The devourer checked his sights a final time, grinning at me. Bayham was about to dampen the trigger when the Ambassador Johnson lunged at him, grabbing his dominant arm. She tugged it down, and the gun went off, blasting a hole in the floor. The duo tumbled to the ground, wrestling for the control of the firearm. My mind was reeling as I stared at the skirmish. Why was Ambassador trying to help? This was her chance to get rid of me. Without any blood in her hands of the Terran government, humans were supposed to enjoy carnage anyways. There was no reason for her to put herself in the line of fire for a sworn enemy. Ambassador Johnson twisted the wrist, trying to loosen his grip on the gun. Bayham reached out with his free arm and picked up the stray shard of glass from the floor. With a swift motion, he jabbed it into her thigh. The human yelped, and her lapse in concentration allowed the devourer to break free. He shrugged off her grasp and began crawling away. The thought occurred to me to run to join in the fray, but I was paralyzed. Something in my brain had shut off, and I couldn't flip it back on. Bayham struggled to his feet, using the desk for support. He levered the gun at Ambassador Johnson, who was nursing her wounded leg. Crimson blood soaked through the navy blue pants, toning them purple. I didn't know much about human anatomy, but she must have been hit in some sort of blood vessel. "Stay down. I don't want to hurt you," he pleaded. The gun swiveled back towards me. I steeled myself for the inevitable. There was no reason in begging for forgiveness from either of them, because I wasn't sorry. Sure, my methods hadn't been perfect, but I was the only one brave enough to stand up against those human wretches, to make sacrifices for the well-being of the Federation. There was a sharp, searing pain in my forehead. I crumpled in my seat, watching as the world became fuzzy. It was all so grainy, so out of focus. I was dimly aware, in the recesses of my conscience, of Bayham running from the scene of the crime, my ears registering the words of Ambassador Johnson, calling for help on a holopad. But I was too far gone to process anything but the cold sensation washing over my body. Nothingness overtook my senses, and I sank into the arms of the void. End of chapter. The algorithm reckons you should be watching this video next, and I recommend that you should be always watching my video. So, click with energy! And yes, clicking that does help the channel. Thank you very much. I just want to give a quick thanks to the Tier 5 patrons and channel members: Ithilia, Barky, Fudic Yol, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, White Van 420, Lord Azrekahl, Arcadian, and Oakfield.